Hi guys, welcome back to another video. It has been a minute. I haven't talked about this on here because this is like why it's been a minute, but right when I hit 14 weeks, literally like the day, I had to go to the hospital like in an ambulance because I was having intense like abdominal pain and I'm just gonna say getting very sick. Turns out that I had ovarian torsion, which if you don't know what that is, number one, you're very lucky. It is horrible. It is the most excruciating pain I've ever been in my entire life, and like nothing else even comes close. But basically my ovary twisted on itself twice. So I had to go to the emergency room and ended up having like emergency surgery. So I was kind of like out of commission for the past couple weeks. However, I'm feeling much better. So finally, this is a video I've been wanting to film, and we're just gonna jump right into it because I have a very limited amount of time to film this. But today's video is gonna be a little like first trimester and pregnancy Q&A. And we have a ton of questions, honestly. So we're just gonna try to breeze through. I know I'm normally like super chatty for every answer. I'm gonna try to be as quick as I can. Okay, I just picked the first question, and clearly we're jumping right into the big questions because the question is, how did you know you were ready? And I see this in like multiple parts, okay? So for me personally, there's like the ready to be pregnant and like have a kid, and then there's ready to do like IVF embryo transfer again. I'll start with the easier part of it, the non-fertility side of it. This is gonna be like an annoying answer, and I feel like all my answers to questions like this are annoying, and I'm really sorry for that. But I see it as two parts. One is, how did I know I was ready to be pregnant again? And two, how did we know we were ready for another kid? I know a lot of people say like, oh, well, you're never like fully ready. Honestly, I felt like we have been ready for a while because this was the plan. And it's kind of as simple as that. We knew we wanted to do the 2 under 2 thing, and so that really gives you a very, is my shirt on backwards? Okay, I'm so sorry guys. 2 under 2 gives you a pretty concrete timeline. So we knew that was the plan, and so I feel like we mentally have been ready for that because we've just kind of been preparing for it, if that makes any sense. And then in terms of being ready to be pregnant, because I am not someone who loved being pregnant. I'm incredibly grateful to currently be pregnant and to have been pregnant, but it's not my favorite thing. Like I know some people like feel amazing in their bodies and they're so confident and like all these types of things, but like I didn't feel great. So for me, that was more of the apprehension of like, do I want to be pregnant? Do I want to be pregnant? What really clued me into like, okay, you're ready to be pregnant is I started getting really jealous of people's like pregnancy announcements and like seeing people who were going through pregnancy. I'm like, oh, I wish that was me. Now, in terms of the fertility aspect of it, to me, it was really matter of fact. Just the same way that like you have to give birth if you want a kid. To me, it was like, you have to do an embryo transfer if you want a kid, if you want another baby. And so it was just very matter of fact of like, this has to happen. And so in terms of, again, like being ready for that, you're never ready for that. But to me, I just kind of had to accept and understand that like, that's part of the process for me. I know that's like not helpful. And really, some of these are kickers and we're really just starting with a bang. This one says, did going through infertility ever make you doubt wanting another? It was so hard to have my daughter. I don't know if I can go through that mindset again, and I kind of worry I'll regret it if I don't try. So this to me is very similar to what I just said of like, I knew I just had to do this if I wanted another baby. And also I feel like, again, kind of similar to labor, is like I blocked out the tough part. Like I don't know, I just like didn't really think about the really tough part. So no, it didn't make me ever doubt it, but that's me personally. But I completely understand how it could. Like I definitely had my moments of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I have to do this again. But then like, you know, having a baby or a toddler now, you see the benefit of it and you see the reward. And so I feel like it's actually easier to jump back into it because you know what you're getting out of it, if that makes sense. This one says, can you do a video of the supplements and vitamins you're taking? This time I kept it really simple in terms of like actual like pill supplements. Pre-transfer or like getting ready for the transfer, I took parallel conception pack, and then day of transfer I started taking the first trimester prenatals. And I love parallel. I love what they stand for. I do have a code, so I'll put it on the screen here, and I will also put it in the description. I truly love parallel. I took it 90% of my first pregnancy. I took it postpartum. I took it conception wise. So parallel is what I took in terms of those types of supplements. And then in terms of just the other like wellnessy supplements, I've continued my Armra. Again, I do have a code, it's Nicole-White. You guys know I'm obsessed with my Armra. And then I also take electrolytes every day. I love the ones from Just Ingredients. I do have a code for that one too. This is not a video just to like tell you all my codes for things. It's just that like I use my Just Ingredients code. So like, why would you not use a code and get a discount. But I love the lemon lime electrolytes. And then I occasionally take my magnesium. I don't do great with that. But that's all. This one says, what will their age gap be? And they are gonna be 19 months, I think. How did you decide the timing for starting the transfer process again? How did you take into account how long it took the first time? Did your doctor give you any sort of guidance as to when your body would be recovered or be ready again? So I'm gonna start with the last one about my doctor because I've seen a ton of people be like, my doctor said I can't start yet. My doctor said I have to wait this long. If I recall, when I had my first discussion with them, they said 18 months birth to birth, I think. So basically like 9 months postpartum, you can start the process if you want to. Our timeline was slightly after that, so we never got any pushback or any like guidance in that way because I think our timeline just fit in with their recommendations, I guess. And then what was the other part? How did you take into account how long the process took? Honestly, we just did the transfer like earlier than we needed to because we just really wanted to hit that 2 under 2. With this timeline, like where I am now pregnancy-wise, we obviously have a 5-month buffer for that 2 under 2, and like that's the answer. And how we took that into account, we only spoke positively, so we knew it would work the first time. However, we transferred earlier than we needed to, and that's basically the bottom line. This one says, did you try naturally before transferring your last embryo? We did not. Is it possible that I could have gotten pregnant naturally? Maybe, I have no idea. One, we had the embryo. We knew it was a good quality embryo. We knew it was genetically normal and all of those things. So it was kind of like, why would we not go for that first? Also, I think me as a incredibly anxious person and just going through what I've been through, I would have been terrified to just like go through a normal pregnancy. Like as much as like I would have loved to not be taking shots for 10 weeks or however long I did it. I just know how much it took to get Louis and how much intervention and like what the medication cycle was to where like, I think I would have been terrified. Even if I got pregnant naturally, I probably would have requested progesterone anyway. And then like at that point, why would I not have just used my embryo? I don't know. But basically, no, we did not. We just transferred our embryo and we knew it would work, and it did. If you nursed or pumped last time, how long did you do it? How long do you want to this time? Did it impact your weight loss? So I've talked about this, I feel like a decent bit. The answer is yes, mainly nursed, but like pumped occasionally for 4 months. Obviously would love to breastfeed again if that's in the cards for me. This might be really controversial. I feel like there is such a, it's not even societal, it's more like social media pressure on breastfeeding, and they make it seem like it's such a big deal and like you have to breastfeed for a year, like blah, blah, blah. And I never had like a goal for myself, but I assumed I would do it for at least 6 months. But the second we introduced formula, that pressure of like, you need to breastfeed your baby was immediately lifted. And I was like, oh, this is like not a big deal. Like if they need formula, they need formula. If breastfeeding isn't good for my mental health or my physical health, then it's probably better that I do something that is. Like, she's gonna be totally fine. This baby would be totally fine. I'm not putting pressure on it. Whatever happens, happens. And now that we introduced formula earlier than we thought we would have, it just takes a big pressure off. And then in terms of the weight loss, I can say for a fact I did not lose weight while breastfeeding, but I can't say for sure that it was holding me back because even after I stopped breastfeeding, I still didn't lose weight for another 3 to 4 months after that. And I think a lot of that was just some lifestyle changes, which is such a frustrating comment for me to say to myself because I know how incredibly healthy I am and I know what my habits look like, but it just took some shifts. And then like I really quickly lost a lot of weight. I've said this before. It took me 8 months maybe to lose like 5 pounds postpartum, which is wild. It took me 8 months to lose like 5 pounds. And then it took me like 4 to 5 months to lose like 15 or 20. So breastfeeding definitely was not in my favor, but to be 100% transparent, and I don't feel like people on the internet will say this, if it helps me lose weight this time, I will probably push through the mental side of it and breastfeed longer. Just being honest. This one says, I'm also expecting my 2 babies will be about 16-ish months apart. Curious, since your age gap is slightly larger, what products or things are you looking at now that you will have? We will be getting a double stroller. I'm 99% sure about the one we're getting. I will share about it a little bit later on once we have confirmed. We already purchased it actually. I need to do like an unboxing and show you guys, but I purchased a wild bird carrier this time, the aerial carrier, but it's specifically the collab with Walker Family Goods. You know I'm obsessed with Walker Family Goods. This one specifically has a little thing to put over their head to like shade them from the sun. And the biggest thing we found with Louis is getting her to fall asleep in the carrier was really hard because she was just so visually distracted. So that was like the first thing we purchased. And then I also really want to get the Wild Bird wrap carrier because I just have a feeling I'm going to be wearing this baby from day one if I can, because also having a toddler, it just makes things a lot easier. Those are the main products I can think of right now, specifically relating to having two babies close together. Okay, this is like my favorite question because I swear I ask myself this every single day. It says, so will your babies technically be twins since it's from the same egg retrieval? I don't know. I joke all the time that like they're the same age, but like they were birthed years apart. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think this might be too much of a moral or an ethical question? I don't know if I even want to bring this up, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Do you guys think babies from the same egg retrieval are twins, even if it's years apart? I don't know. Have you had morning sickness? Really? No. I never, even with Louis, got like actually physically sick. I never threw up, which was amazing, but I was super, super, super nauseous for like probably 6 to 10 weeks, like that time frame. This baby, I barely had any. When I'm filming this, I'm almost 17 weeks, so like all that stuff has fully gone away. Yeah, it was not bad. I had it kind of intermittently from weeks like maybe 9 to 12, but really it was not bad. It was like nothing. Do you have any name ideas? If so, can you share? Congratulations. First of all, thank you very much. So names are tricky. Matt and I are having a very hard time deciding on names, like agreeing, I should say. I have a huge list of names for boys. Like I have so many boy names that I love that Matt is like, no. And girl names, I have virtually 0 because I feel like we just did so good with Louis that like, how would I pick another girl name? Anyway, so I will, as we get closer and more solidified, share like baby names we love but didn't pick. But as of right now, I don't really have any to share because we're struggling. Are you nervous about 2 under 2 at all? Was that always the plan? Like I said, yes, always the plan. And honestly, no. Like I'm really not. I don't know if that's naive. I'm just excited. Has your bump bumped yet? I heard it happens a lot faster the second time around. Yes. I will insert a picture here. My bump bumped very fast, but also not to reopen the same conversation I've been having for a year at this point, but my bump and my bloat never went away postpartum. And I think in hindsight, that has to do with ab separation that like didn't heal because of my autoimmune condition. And so I feel like I just don't have core at all. And so if you don't have a core and your abs are not together, there's gonna be nothing to hold your belly in at all. So I feel like I bumped literally immediately because there's nothing to support my belly. Did IVS come with less stress round 2? Nervous for that process with a baby. So this might be controversial, I don't know. It definitely has a lot more hiccups and roadblocks and it's just logistically harder, especially because like I wasn't allowed to bring my baby to a lot of appointments, which means like Matt had to watch her and Matt couldn't come and things like that. However, I feel like going through IVF and fertility treatments the first time, like before you have a kid, is very like, it is your whole life. It is all consuming. It's all you can think about because you haven't hit that finish line yet. This time, it was like I was doing it just in the context of my life. It was not my whole life. I didn't have time or energy or mental space to harp on it and to like think about it all day long. Like I still had my waves of like, oh my God, like I hope it works, blah, blah, blah. But like 90% of the time, I'm just taking care of my toddler. It just felt like the process went a lot quicker because the days just kind of go quicker and time passes quicker when you have more things to do. And so I honestly felt like it was less stressful. Activity after your embryo transfer, about to go through this with a toddler and nervous. I was gonna talk about this anyway at some point. I have had quite the wild ride in this first pregnancy, and unfortunately, basically the first 20 weeks of my pregnancy, like the literal entire first half of my pregnancy, with the exception of like a couple weeks here and there, I'm like not really allowed to work out, which is really, 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 really incredibly frustrating, especially with like all the progress I had made with losing weight. Obviously, that's a very different thing in pregnancy, and I can talk about that separately. I worked out as much as I could, but I couldn't because I had the subchorionic hemorrhages and I had the OHSS and then I had this ovary surgery. So honestly, I have barely worked out at all. The most I've done is like core engagement and walking. That's what I've been the most consistent with. I probably would have still kept it low key the first 2 weeks post-transfer, but I had to anyway. How many transfers did it take with Louis? Do you feel it was easier knowing transfer protocol? Definitely easier knowing the protocol and knowing that we knew what was successful. With Louis, it took 1 medicated cycle, 3 IUIs, 2 egg retrievals, and 5 embryo transfers. It's quite the journey. Will this be your last baby? And that is most definitely the plan. Was this embryo PGT tested? Yes, and it was. I don't know what the verbiage is, but like it was genetically normal. Are you doing anything differently knowing this may be your last baby? I feel like some boundaries I'm gonna be a lot stricter on, mostly because this baby is a winter baby. And so 6th season is gonna be in full force. So there's certain things with that I'm gonna be doing differently, just like a lot stricter of boundaries. And this has nothing to do with it being our last baby. This just has to do with like living and learning from Louie. With Louie, we really wanted to have like a week to ourselves before anybody came and like met her. But plans changed drastically when we had to go back into the hospital for a week when she was like a day old. And it was just harder to justify that when people were like traveling to see us. Like my parents were in California when she was born and felt wrong to be like, you guys can't come over. But I feel like we will definitely be trying to do that this time because we just want time to like soak up our new little family. That's really all I can think of at the moment. Does this current pregnancy feel similar to your previous one or is it different? No, it's so different. It's so different. I feel so different in my body. Like obviously I'm showing so much earlier, and I feel a lot weaker than I did going into that pregnancy just because of everything else going on. But other than that, I feel like a little bit better in my body. Like I'm not gaining weight as quickly or really at all so far, which I don't know if that has to do with starting at a higher weight, but like that feels very different. I have much more energy, I would say. I didn't in the first trimester. I feel like I was way more tired, but I also don't know if I remember how tired I was because I also wasn't chasing a toddler. But yeah, basically just like everything about it feels completely different. Are you experiencing more symptoms than your previous pregnancy? I think just different symptoms. My sense of smell is so much more intense and it's like painful. Like I still can't change poopy diapers. Like it just is so bad. But then like my nausea is way less, but my back pain's way more, but I don't know. They're just all different. And that is actually the last question. Let me know if you guys have any other questions. And now that I'm in the 2nd trimester, I would love to do a 2nd trimester recap like towards the end. So just make sure you are dropping any questions you have about 2nd trimester or just like 2nd pregnancy, all that stuff. Make sure you please like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, do all the things. I'll see you in the next video.